Hamido Ali.
Hamido Ali.
Hamido Ali. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Just getting a little bit deep into actually things that we should be talking about on this podcast before the podcast. So we're like, got to get it going. Got to say thank you very much.
Oh, no problem, man.
Show off the shirt.
No problem.
Urattire. Where can they find Urattire primarily?
You could go Urattire.com or Urattire on Facebook or Instagram.
Word.
Yeah.
How do you spell it?
It's UR.
Yeah.
Attire.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were just running through, what was it? We were talking specs of clothing, setting the market for an artist, and it being, I was calling it setting market. You were saying more, it was
creating a brand.
Creating the brand. So I think that setting the market is probably just one facet underneath creating the brand.
Yeah.
So if there's stuff that you don't want to talk about that you've done with your brand, that's cool. But just in regards to regular business jargon, we were running through, and what I ultimately want Tourage to be about is almost like business development consulting for the artist. So one day I do see a YMCA type place that is like a gym for the mind called Hiatus, right? You'd go there, and maybe instead of getting a Zumba ticket, what you're doing is you're jumping in Tuesdays and Wednesdays every week with a highlight, a special like thought leader or instructor from a specific university. So-and-so from BU Art, whatever, is here, and they're teaching you a class, right? And it would work. The business model would be like that. There'd be a studio in there. You'd have even like a spot for pottery, a bunch of different places to create, and then programs ran through it. But then you're running it like the right way you should as a business. So, hey, this motherfucker's printing shirts in the bag. It's pretty, like, we got the platform to show it off, to get it out to the world.
I like that idea, though. How you said, like the gym for the mind. I like that idea. Like, look at right now, everybody's listening to podcasts, which is like, TikToks, information broadcasts.
Exactly.
We live in an age of information, so everybody, is on that. They want to know more. They want to.
And they can get to it very easily.
And bro, you could do that yourself. Like, you could do a live podcast with audience. Yeah. And you bring some good guest, whoever it is, like famous, and you could talk to them, and maybe someone has a question.
I feel you. And this has actually been top of mind like over the past couple of days. Yeah. I don't know if I would at least right now do that, because aside from infrastructure, things to get set up and everything like that, and that requiring just a more time investment, more so is the same reason why I think you don't know why you want to do Instagram Live. Yeah. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. What happens when you hit live like that? See, the beautiful thing about this is that with the shouts to Muhammad, but with the exception of Muhammad and Nick and Al that will come back later, we're really in an environment that is just us two. There's less variables that your mind has to even need to pick up on, even if it's just your genetic encoding. Like, you need to be paying attention to your environment. Exactly. With all these other people and distractions and anything like that, you get away from that circle, that back and forth of just true interaction between two people. Exactly. You could only get to like a certain level of depth, when other people in the room. That's why I fold all the screens backwards, because when they're backwards, it's the lights are still in your face, but you still have more of an idea that like it's just us here and they're not there. Exactly. When you're looking at the screen, you're being more self-conscious. That's the opposite of what we want to do. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Yeah, I agree. So I agree. This is us kicking it. Yeah, definitely, man. I'm happy you told me about this, man. I'm glad. Yeah, I appreciate it. I knew you'd have some stories too. Yeah, man, I have crazy stories. We're gonna have to get into it. Yeah. For anyone watching that knows my boy Nick, knows my brother Al, right? And then us joking about how you could be like, we're honestly, even with Muhammad, we could be like a line of brothers, maybe with different fathers. Yeah. Or some shit like that. Never know, bro. Never know. You know? We all related somehow, Agreed. So I had some. So wait, what is your ethnicity? Okay. You want me to say it like in details or just like where I was born? Yeah, fuck it. Let's get in details, because I did 23andMe as well, and really. Yeah. Did that work? Like it was accurate? To compare to what?
Like,
they're the only ones telling me that they're experts in doing it. Aside from it, like, do I think it was accurate? Very much so. My mom really did a great job at calling at least her side what the differences would be. Yeah, they all showed up. So I think I was 54% European, 36 something percent Southeast Asian, and then some sub-Saharan African, some Native American, small percentages of that, some Iberian, German, Irish, British, but primarily like over 20% Italian. So to keep it easy, I'm like Italian. Half Italian, half Filipino. That makes the most sense.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was born in Iraq.
Yep.
Iraq.
Keep going.
My mom and my dad, they were born in Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's dad, he's from Turkey.
Word.
My dad's mom, she's from Oman. I don't know if you know where Oman is. It's like the Gulf. It's like what's called under east of Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. My mom's mom, he's like originally from Lebanon, and my mom's mom, she's Iraqi.
Yeah.
So
is that what it showed up to? Did you?
No, I didn't do like the DNA thing. No.
So but
do you think they could have records of my country and stuff? Or?
It doesn't work like that. I think the way that it works is it's taking, everyone carries a specific genetics code, right? You could even map like an early iguana before it evolved into a different type of iguana, like just based on a certain genetic code mapping. I believe that's it. Okay. So that's why when people do it, they end up, you're seeing some African or some, shit you haven't seen before, because we only kept track a few lifetimes back.
Okay.
You know what I mean? To us, it's a big deal that I know who my grandfather, great-grandfather, and one before him is. But that's what, 5 lifetimes back? Yeah. That's not that long.
There's nothing, exactly.
Yeah. So that's double digit to hundreds of thousands of years that like lifetime's been going on.
Yeah.
So
that's when the real shit went down. Back 100,000 years.
Oh my! I mean, I think I think I can adopt to living in the wilderness, right?
Yeah,
if the zombie apocalypse happens, I'd like to hope at least that I'm one of the motherfuckers.
To be honest, like if we all connected here in cities and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you go out there, you'll be more connected.
Oh, for sure.
Like not just with. I'm not talking about just with people, but within yourself, connected within the person he's in you, the soul or whatever, consciousness or whatever, and with nature.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like one time I did mushrooms, I was fucked. Bro, like I felt so connected. Yeah. Maybe the drugs, but every time, even before I took that mushroom, every time I went to a hiking, went to a hike or like camping or whatever, I always felt like connected. I love the nature,
and the landscape actually looks like more almost like cinematic, like looks more like a movie type of beautiful. It's almost like you'll appreciate any kind of nature. I'm speaking from like psilocybin, like on mushrooms, right?
Yes.
You appreciate the landscape far more, and you'll be much more a part of it, which is needed like, for something like hunting too.
I understand that, you're right, but like even if you don't do that drug, if you just go out there and look at a big mountain,
that's what I'm saying.
You have that feeling like, wow, like you're so small and like there's so much out there in the world, Yeah.
Yeah. I just see. So here's where I ran into some trouble with life. Is I think that there's something funny about, regardless of what it is that's beautiful that you see, and that has a curve, right? So you could have some stuff that's pretty, it's a pretty flower. You could have some stuff that's like, that's a pretty existence. That's better, right? And then what happens after you have these really, something like mushrooms would do, DMT would do, or even when you're just having enough time out in nature and you're looking at that mountain like, goddamn, what's hard now is to come back and get into an office every day or something, and it's not that
routine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably need routine, but routine when you feel like the work that you're doing is being controlled. It's a different. And here's the circle now, right? Like the work that you do working on something that's for you, not work that is controlled, tends to be a little bit better for your, probably way better than for your mental, for your mind state, like mind, body, soul, whatever. You're not sitting in a chair feeling like you need to be up walking. If you're working on it for you, you're up walking around. You know, like I don't know. You zone more in, and your focus is actually getting up to its potential. I feel like when you're seated and just taking instructions all day, I've never been really good at taking
instruction. Nah.
I mean, I would like at school and stuff. I would pay attention. I could take that kind of instruction. But that's what they prepare
you for. They prepare you for the 9 to 5 job, taking instructions. You know, like you go into school, you go into the class, you have to listen to that teacher. The bell rings, you gotta go to another class. You know how it is.
And then you get to a certain age and you just realize though what it is that you actually want to deal with. And then there's some people that are like, I'm not fucking dealing with that. Let's go a different direction. And there's most people that are like, this is my ego, this is the job, this is the way everyone's living, how everyone thinks I'm supposed to be living. All my elders are giving me all this advice, but this advice is just based on a different way of life in a different time, because the world's changed more in the past year and then 20 before, and now you're fucking stuck in a rock and a hard place, you know, arguing with your own ego and everyone else's social, cultural expectations of you.
Exactly, bro. This is what it is. It's a social life. You know, they have expectation of us. Oh, you have to work, you have to go to school, you have to go to college, you have to get a job, get a house, get married. That's, everybody's doing that. But is that the meaning of life?
No.
Nah, you can do whatever you want. But it's just, most of us are scared to get out of this comfort zone, because everybody's comfortable. Yes, we stress about bills and stuff like that, but like if you're thinking about it, I'm just gonna get out and just put it back on backpack and just travel, walk around, whatever, you know, I'll find something. People, you know, they start thinking like, oh shit, you know, what if I have to come back and I start all over? You know what I'm saying?
I'm already this age.
Exactly.
You know? Then there's like the butts, man. The butts who will get you. You know what I mean? Like the amount of times that there's something brilliant you're ranting and raving about, and then you hit a butt, right? The butts, they'll get you. I think you don't have children, do you?
Nah.
Yeah, so I mean, we're lucky enough in the place that we're at right now where we don't. I think that there are certain sacrifices that when you have a family or you need to provide for somebody else, that I'm big on dreams, but certain ones need to get curved for. I mean, your first job is the father or the mother. So if that is your first job, unfortunately, you need to take what society may hand you as a regular job and just fucking put up with it. But I think that arguably, if you're doing that the right way, there's something that happens when you have a child that makes you cool with it. Like there's more purpose involved in your life on the day to day anyway.
It also depends on your like I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
But like it always depends on your family too. You know what I'm saying? Like if you grew up in a father and a mother home, and they show you affection, when you get a child, you're gonna give him everything. It's gonna be just him and only him. Like your priority in life is gonna be just, taking care of that kid.
Or the only argument I'll make to that is, or 100%, like 180 degree shift where it's just backwards, and it's. They have either completely done something way different than the way that they grew up. So either they mimic it or they go the complete opposite direction. You know?
But like, you know, sometimes it's hard too. Like if you have no father, you know, you live with one single parent, you know, and you have a kid, you don't really care, you know, you leave, and, you know, that's a different story. But like to me, if I want to have a kid, like it's all going to be about him. About my family, you know? So whatever I have to do, it has to be to give them a better life. You know? So, like, I'm glad I don't have anybody right now, because I wanted, you know, just...
So what, did you grow up without a father?
No.
You have a father?
Yeah, I have a father and a mother. Still, you know? That's what I'm saying. Like, if I have a kid, it's going to change everything. You know? Like, I'm not going to be out there going around promoting my clothes, you know, just what...
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to go and... do the 9 to 5 job, and I have to do it You know.
So wear a condom. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Practice safe sex.
Yeah.
That should be something that happens anyway. Because even when they were all fucking each other in Greece, having these crazy ass like big what is the god Dionysus type of like orgies.
Yeah.
You know, there was no diseases really fucking around back then.
Not just even back then, like way before back then. Like when you're talking about the Sumerians.
Yeah.
You know, they created beer. Okay, and they had on the walls.
Sumerians created beer.
Yes.
Okay.
Sumerians, you know, like you see all
for
this.
For what purpose?
To drink.
Just, I mean, like,
like to drink it maybe because water was it gets infected maybe by rats or whatever, you know. So they had to create like alcohol.
Oh,
you know
gotcha.
What I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What's called back then? They had like on the walls or like on the tablets. You know, like drinking beer and fornicating with other girls. You know, like it was, bro. It was, you know, it wasn't like it wasn't a big deal. You know.
Yeah.
There was no diseases. Now it's like I don't know. It's just I don't know.
It's a slum fest.
Yeah.
It's a disgusting slum fest.
Yeah. So
there's whole countries that are just polluted.
Yeah.
It's like
like look at if you go to New York, bro.
What about New York?
Like if you just go to New York, like I went one time to the subway, bro. I would never go in the subway again. It's so disgusting.
Oh,
you know,
man.
like if you're talking about Greece or like, you know,
yeah.
Mesopotamia or whatever.
Keep that shit clean.
Yeah, they were like one with nature. You know, it wasn't like I don't know what the hell we did now. That it's like so much bacteria. I don't know what it is, bro.
Well, they say that there is no disease in America with the Native Americans until the white man came.
Well, that's how they defeated Native Americans.
Yeah.
Chicken pox.
Yeah.
You know?
Fucking Thanksgiving, R.I.P., motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they corrected that in the history books.
I don't know about that.
Maybe not all of them.
Yeah.
Maybe not them red states. Not them red states. The tiki torch whites. Jesus.
Yeah, bro. But,
so where'd you grow up?
Okay. So I was born in Iraq, Baghdad.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's some heavy shit. And
it's a beautiful country, bro.
Andre 3000 just hops in my head immediately.
Yeah. When I heard that song, yo, I was mad.
I bet. And it must piss you off that it's the first thing that I think about,
and
too.
You know what's funny, bro? Like, when I came here, I didn't know English at all. You know, like, I came here with just yes, no. You know, I'll tell you why.
And how old were you?
I was 13.
Okay.
Almost 14. And I went to middle school. I met some dude. Yeah. I met some dude, and then he showed me the song. When I told him I was from Baghdad, and I was pissed. You know, even though I didn't know how to speak English, I knew what the hell was going on.
Fucking hashtag America.
But I was born in Iraq, and I left Iraq when I was 6 years old. And
how come? Why were you? Well.
So
I don't mean for it to be an obvious question, but why were you leaving?
Bro, it's a long story, but my dad used to work with my dad used to be a soccer player.
Yep. Oh yeah, you were telling me that.
My dad used to be a soccer player. He had like best life. Goes to training, come back, eat, goes to another training, and then he hangs out with his friends, do it all over again the next day.
Training for what?
Just
soccer?
Yeah, he used to play like professionally in club teams.
Getting paid?
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah. He came from like a wealthy family.
Word, okay.
His mother and father died at his young age, but his sister, she raised him and his other sister.
Gotcha.
He was the youngest. So he went to war, and obviously they signed you up for 3 years. He came out after 14 years. In the war, yeah. But I came in 1986. My mom was giving birth to me, and my dad was in the same hospital. He was shot. Yeah.
Damn.
So, anyways, I was born in Iraq. After that, my dad, he started a business with his uncle and his cousins. It's just like supermarkets. Just like Stop and Shop, but a little bit smaller. And they had like different branches in Iraq. Then something happened with like Saddam's son. They try to like assassinate him or whatever. And the next day Saddam came out in a press conference or whatever, and then he had to do like, he wanted to find out who did it. He knew it was people from the country did it, because the son was a fucked up person. Like, he used to go to schools, wait for girls to come out, and he just pick a girl, take her home, hit it,
that kind of fucked
and
up.
fucking kill her somewhere.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So obviously, like, probably one of the girl's brother, you know, try to like kill him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
shit.
Saddam,
I would.
Yeah, of course, I would do the same thing. So Saddam, he wanted to like punish the people because he wanted to know who was that person that did that. You know, he wanted to find out the people. So he put like the price of, you know, he said everybody has to put the prices of the food up, whatever, and until somebody comes up and tell me.
Damn, running that shit like a classroom.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, but he was a tough president, by the way, bro. You know, like if you don't fuck around with what's called like politics, you know, you used to sleep and the fucking doors open. Right now, you can't do shit. Right now, it's like...
Yeah.
You know, like a war zone. You know what I'm saying? Even though there's good parts, but like the other parts, you don't know when the fucking car is going to explode or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because everybody's trying to take a piece of Iraq because it's a wealthy country.
Gotcha.
You know? So anyways, after that, like my dad and his uncle and his cousins, they put the prices up, but some areas, you know, they kept it. You know, they didn't want to put the prices up because there was like a lot of poor people. The government found out. They hung my dad's uncle and his cousin and both of his cousins in front of the stores, their store, and they were coming after my dad.
What did they? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know,
no, it's cool.
I'm sorry for your luck, but what did they do?
They, you know how Saddam said like you have to put the prices up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like in a couple of stores around like poor areas,
they kept them down.
Yeah, you know,
and
because that, you know.
Yep.
What's called, and then we just had to leave, bro. We didn't. All our properties.
How'd you find that shit out, dude?
What do you mean? How I or my dad?
How'd you find out?
Oh, my dad told me about it, the story, you know. And obviously, like.
And how old were you at the time? Like 11?
No, I actually found out when I was in Lebanon.
Oh.
Yeah, gotcha. Because you know, my dad was telling the story to the United Nations.
Gotcha.
You know, and we were there sitting down, and when he told them, you know, I was like, oh shit, what's going on here? You know, but I knew that my dad came from a wealthy family. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so after that, we just had to like put our stuff in a bag and just leave. We went to Jordan for a 6 months visa. But we stayed there for a year and like 2 months. But we couldn't do anything because if they found out, they will deport us back to Iraq, and then that's the end of it.
Yeah. So what were you doing on your day-to-day? And how old are you at this time?
I was 7. 7, yeah, almost 8.
Yeah, so the world's still really big, you know? Like these things make a big difference in the way that
but bro, like it went from like 0 to 100, like so crazy. Because when we went to Jordan, we only had the money that we had on us. You know?
Yeah.
We couldn't go back and take the money or anything, so
it's a new slate completely.
Yeah. It was bad. We were living like in a 1-bedroom apartment, all of us as a family. You know?
Yeah,
like I went down to 0 like 3 times in my life. Like 0. Like no welfare shit, nothing.
Yeah.
You know? And this is why like I fucking live life to the fullest right now, you know, like
You're more hungry.
Yeah, do whatever I want, you know what I'm saying? And I'm always appreciated of anything, you know, like everything that comes my way, I like, you know, take a second, appreciate it.
I mean, what you have is so valuable.
Yeah.
It's like too bad you can't bottle up the experience just to give it to a child, because unfortunately, even though you've went through a lot of harder shit, the path like kind of provoked meaning to come earlier on and to set into like your ways, and just having that like pre-existing knowledge of knowing how bad it can get makes you work a little bit harder, makes you not waste your time, makes you realize how valuable your time actually is. I feel like a lot of people aren't valuing their time correctly.
I think people over here in the United States, I think they should travel more.
Yeah,
because when they travel, they'll see, and they will be more appreciated of what they have.
Yeah,
you know, like, don't get me wrong, like, people around the world, they live life, you know, comfortably too, but like when you go and you see that the stuff that they don't have and you have it here and you take it for granted, you know, like, there's not a lot of people that are appreciative here in America. They always take everything for granted. But anyways, go back to the story. After a year and a half, we had to go somewhere. We had to go to Lebanon or something, because it was too close to Iraq and it was too dangerous if they find us. You know, that's back to the homeland, you know?
Then it was to America?
No. Back to Iraq, I said.
No, I know, but you went from...
No, this was going to get interesting. Right?
Oh, okay. You actually do go back to Iraq.
No, hold on.
Okay.
So, we have no papers, so we cannot go, like, from a country to a country, only go back to Iraq. We cannot go anywhere else.
Gotcha.
So, what we did, we had to hire, like, smugglers, okay, and take us from Jordan, Jordan to Lebanon. All right.
Damn. Is there an air conditioning?
Air conditioning for what? We did walk, bro.
You walked the whole way?
Yo, if they pay me $10 million,
such an American question,
bro. If they pay me $10 million right now to go back to that day, I would never.
So how long of a walk are we talking?
Bro, it was.
And they're like
12,
guides, right?
It was 12-hour walk.
Yeah.
But you have to picture the scenario. It was me, 8 years old, my brother, 10 years old, my sister, which is 5 years old, and a 3-year-old, and my mom.
Damn.
No, the father stayed back because he opened up a small, what's called mixed tables and like cabinets and stuff like that shop, you know, like a
carpentry.
Yeah. So he had to sell everything and then follow us. So
yeah, that's a lot on your mother too.
But we got there. We got to there, like to the end where they have a house where people give us a ride.
Yeah.
And then we'll go. So we got there, bro, and it was the time to go. I had a bag. My brother had a bag. My mom had a bag. And we had to just follow the smugglers, and they don't wait. You have to follow them, because if they get caught, they don't want to get caught. And I have like 2 little girls and my mom, and we were so young. So we started walking, bro, and after before we got to the Jordan-Syria border, my sisters, they got starting to need water. You know, they were so thirsty, but the smugglers, they had their own water. They don't want to fucking give water to anybody, just them. And
they probably have people die on them all the time.
Oh yeah, wait until I tell you the whole story. So anyways, we got to the border, and then we had to cross that border, and we had to cross one by one, you know. We're crossing one by one, and then the dogs, they started smelling us or something. They started barking, and we had to run. We ran for an hour, bro. But my mom fell, you know. My sister, her shoe fucking
This
gone.
Is an intense scene,
bro.
This is a real intense scene.
Yes, and I had to stay. I had to stay with the fucking the smugglers, and my brother stayed with my family. And the way we communicate with each other, and I told him this, is I'm gonna whistle to you. You know, just little whistles, just follow the whistles, because it's bitch black. You can't see shit, you know? So after that, we got to a safe house. But before we got to the safe house, after we stopped running, my mom, she fell. She was exhausted. And she told my brother in front of me that, take your sister and your brother and leave me here, bro. Imagine you see your mom saying that, bro.
At 8?
At 8 years old.
What are their ages? What are their ages again?
I'm 8. My 2 sisters are 5 and 3, and my brother is 10.
Damn.
Yeah. So, anyways, we got her
How
up.
was your brother?
What, like right now?
Nah, I mean, like in that moment. Like,
bro,
that is, you're remembering that from an 8-year-old physician.
I would never forget that. I would never.
Yeah.
That was the scariest thing that I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
You know?
That's it.
Yeah. So I was like, no, you coming, whatever. So we picked her up and we started walking. We got to this house, like abandoned house in the middle of the desert. And then the smugglers, they said, stay here and we're going to go get the car, come back. They went, got the car, came back, and it was like a small Datsun pickup truck.
Mm-hmm.
And they took us to this like wood area, you know, like woods and like whatever, water, whatever. They put us over there for like 6 hours, and then another truck came in. That truck was a little bit bigger, so they put my mom and my sisters in the front, and me and my brother and like 4 other guys, you know, in the back of the truck with sheep. And they covered us because we have to go through another like
Damn.
Yeah, we had to go through another like a roadblock, which is like, you know. So bro, it was crazy. That time was crazy. We got to the roadblock, we left, and then when we got to the city, to Syria, the guy came out, another car came in, and they let the other guys go, like 6 guys. They were like older, you know, they were like 21 and up. And then they started like arguing. They're like, no, we paid you to go to Lebanon. You can't leave us here in Syria, blah, blah, blah. And then the fucking guys took out the AKs. Yeah, shot one person in his foot. They're like, if you guys don't fucking...
You're just listening to this?
I'm watching this at 8 years old, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, like, they pay me $10 million. I would not go back to that these days. Especially the walking. That was crazy. Anyways, after they left, they took us and they took all our money, everything, and they threw us in fucking Lebanon, in Beirut. No idea who's there, where to go, who to contact, nothing. And then they dropped us next to what's called a protest. It was like a Palestinian protest or something like that. And there was camera videos, or you know, they recording the protest. And the lady who's like the news anchor, she saw my mom crying, and then my mom told her the story, and then she gave us a hotel. The next day she took us.
Word. It's like what do they call those points in the stories where it's almost like not like an angel coming to, but that's grace.
Exactly.
That's an act of grace.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I would never forget that lady. Yeah, she wanted to make a movie about her life, bro. But like my mom was.
I mean, as you're telling me all this, I'm thinking in my head like it would be an amazing piece of cinema to show a film that portrayed this happening and made you feel like what it is, which is like the Underground Railroad for fucking 2018 refugees. And
it's probably worse right now too. You know, like all these Syrian refugees, they go into Greece and they dying in the ocean. You know, because of the
that's fucked up.
It's fucked up, and people don't want them. And what's funny, in World War II, Syria was the #1 country to receive refugees.
So they took them all in, and then
they took all of them in. You know, because of the World War II. You know, a lot of refugees. And now look at them. They like dying in the water, but you know nobody.
I love. There's a way that you present the way when you. So one thing I was going to compliment you on is that I think it takes a certain kind of individual to go through certain kind of shit. It takes another certain kind of individual to go through that same kind of shit, and then be able to articulate it.
Yeah,
and it's funny because while you articulate it, you also have this like. Almost like smile, like face out, going out. That's kind of just like you're one of these people that's meant to tell this story.
Yeah, bro. Like, you know, I told
a lot of people that go through that can't talk about that shit.
You know what's funny? One guy he asked me. He's like, "Oh, why you always smiling?" You know, I'm serious. He's like, "Why you always smiling? Why?"
What an asshole thing.
He was my customer, you know, in Dorchester, and I was like, because I've been through a lot, and then I appreciate everything, so why not smile? And then he's like, oh, like what have you been through? I've been through shit. That's what he said. And then I told him my story. After I told him my story, he was frowning, not me. He was like, how can you be smiling?
Yeah.
He's like, I would be like,
well, it's kind of more like how could you not be smiling?
Exactly. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Like I'm here, America, pursuing my dream.
Yep.
Right or wrong, friends, comfortable.
So you were there for about 7 more years in Lebanon before.
Yeah. Then I got to Lebanon, got introduced to like the UN. They started helping us out. I started working when I was 9. My brother started working when he was 11 because my dad was still in Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
And on the way back here, on the way to to Lebanon, when the smugglers was trying to take him, he got caught. He got caught by the Syrians and he got tortured. And then he was sent.
You throw me off when you're smiling. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You throw me off, and then you go into it, and I'm like, fuck, this shit got heavy.
My dad, he went to the dentist here when he first came.
Yeah.
The dentist was like, what the fuck happened to your jaw?
God damn.
Yeah.
Dude.
So anyways.
OG.
Oh, yeah. So he went back to, they sent him back to Iraq. And his story, like how he got like released, was like incredible too. But that's like another. So he went back to Iraq. He had to do another fake ID identification, grew a beard, and went back again. But it took him like 3 years.
So but at least he could get back to some. Was the money still there?
What? No, he couldn't. He was in north of Iraq.
Ah, got you. He couldn't even go.
No.
Yeah.
Nah, if he went,
big mistake.
Yeah, if he went back to
the
So, anyways,
shit got real. You're living like basically the intro of a 007 movie.
Yeah, the refugee way. The refugee
it's gonna make
way.
a good story. I love the shit that gets added into someone's character that just adds to their movie, if you will. When you do make a movie, it'll be a dope movie.
Maybe.
So what do you want?
Maybe do a documentary of Urattire,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And go back. If you could go there, would you?
To Iraq?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, the only thing that it's bothering me is, with all the wars, not just like in my country, is everybody's doing these wars just because of the money.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a fuck about nobody because there's kids dying. Even in Syria, there's kids dying. Like in Iraq, the economy and shit like that right now, it's fucked up. Like if you're a kid, all right, and you're about to finish college, what do you looking forward to?
Yeah.
There is no jobs, bro.
What's on the agenda?
Yeah. What are you gonna do? It's either you're gonna like go start stealing some shit, or like, or something.
Yeah.
Like there is no future. That's what I hate. And what I hate the most is like all these artifacts and like the history that's over there. They just being like destroyed, or like some people steal them. Like when Saddam.
So you're literally depleting like the way it's gonna be left in text on the planet. Like are they basically ruining the very roots of it?
Everything, bro.
Like I guess the metaphor, if you painted it, would be like garbage at a temple.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like what's called when they took down Saddam.
Mm-hmm.
They went to the museum, and they took everything. They broke everything. That's 10,000 years old artifact. Priceless, bro. Priceless. I saw an interview between 2 professors that they were interested in that, and they were like in contact with that museum.
What museum? So I'll throw this in the timetable of contents. This will be one of the things.
It's to be honest with you, I really don't know the name, but it's like a big museum in Iraq. I will get it for you, definitely.
Okay.
And they were just talking about the things that were missing from the basement. That's not like
everything else, just the basement.
No, like the things in the basement are like so valuable, they didn't take it out for people to see, and they were all missing. Like artifacts, like big statues broken in half because they tried to drag it but they couldn't take it out.
Damn.
Like why would you do that? Like even the.
Well, yeah, I mean that's just greed. It's
not just greed, bro. It's illiteracy too. illiteracy.
True.
Like Iraq has been in war for so long.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it like that. These are the things that people also need to understand, right? I mean, it's like a big use case of when you take something simple like even how we bitch about our education system, out of the picture of the people's lives as a valid route or option.
If I tell you this, like right now, you won't even believe it. Okay, 10,000 years ago, all right, they had the Sumerians. They knew about geometry. They had sewer systems. They knew the craziest thing about it, bro. The craziest thing that I always think about is they knew our solar system, how the sun is, where's it stationed, where's Earth, and how big is like what goes around what, and the moon goes around. That's 10,000 years ago.
Any group of people that are already able to conceive that kind of shit not only means that they are way more advanced, but it also means that they were going for much longer before then. So right now, we're on the same wavelength with this shit because rest in peace, the late John Anthony West. He was one of the people that would lead the way in Egyptology, study, and I would always be just as energized as you just were there when I would tell people, like, listen, this is a civilization paying attention to what we see, the stars, so much that they can within degrees map shit out on like where they're putting it, not only on the planet but the directions in which certain frequencies can now, like, and then geology has dated the things like the Sphinx, going way longer back than what the books are already saying. So have you ever heard of is it a golden year, or it's a 26,000 year revolution. It's a great year. And then there's ages. So you
golden age, and
then you're at the dark ages, I believe, and then it goes to bronze.
It's a wavelength.
Yeah, and then signs dominate within each one of them that would control the signs of even those people, right? The North Node sign is a sign that's like the civilization or the population as a whole being born in that time is more like this sign. And it's crazy when you look at the astrology, but they're mapping out rooms to follow this so perfectly. The Stonehenge is another great example. Now, when you have geology, which is the study of weathering, right, and like they show some dating here to more than between 7 to 36,000 years ago. That changes the entire wave of thought. Like when we were talking about ancestry before, and I was like, we think we know a lot because we know like 5 back.
Exactly.
We don't know much, but with this, it's like this would make a person in retro think
this would
there's
make
something so much greater than anything that we fucked with yet.
To know this, you'll know the creation of man.
Yeah.
To know this, okay?
Yeah.
Because before, we don't have evidence anything before that existed. But what's called in the Sumerian time, right? They found this like a cylinder, which is like 3 feet high, and it's like a square actually, and it had a hole in the middle, so you could spin it and read in each side. Each side of it talks about a king that ruled Samaria. And what's crazy is each king ruled for 16,000 years, for 20,000 years, 13,000 years. Like, you have to think about
the text on the Peruvian Empire too. Like that shit, same deal. The rulings went in like 45,000 year spurts, at least to how text would portray it back, which fucking.
You ever heard? you ever heard about Zakaria Sitchin?
Nah, enlighten me.
So Zakaria Sitchin, he's a scientist too, and he studied like the Sumer holograph, whatever they call it, the way they write
hieroglyphs.
Yeah, and he interpreted it and he read everything, all the tablets and stuff. And what's crazy is in everything that they talk about, they say the knowledge was given to them. They were given to them by the people who came from above, from the heavens. All right? And these people who came from the heavens are the ones who ruled 16,000 years and whatever. So with all this knowledge that they had to, like, these people who gave them this knowledge, they had to be like, you know, like a modern human or something. You know,
that turned God, but only turned God because of
knowledge.
Yeah, and
you know?
Alignment. You know, so we're talking civilizations that built their infrastructure so that your frequency can be more aligned at all times of being within that infrastructure. You're like for your chakras, for that's giving a fuck about the people.
Exactly.
I mean, you really care about
like, you
the
know,
people.
that thing on in Egypt, they have like you see all the pharaohs, they hold in like a cross with like a thing around. That's, if you hit it, that's supposed to balance your energy.
Yeah, it's that sound.
Yeah, that sound, you know. But I'm talking about before that. I'm talking about all these kings and whatever that they came, and they were giants. Even in Egypt, like you see statues are huge of the kings, and the other ones are like so small. And you know, there's like obviously a lot of theories. There's like the religion theory, there's like the science theory, and there's like the what's called myth. What is it called? The science, the mythology.
Okay. I should have said it. That's what I was thinking, but I'm like, no. Okay.
The mythology.
Okay.
But the reason why they say it's mythology, because they don't want to believe it, you know. But it's written, you know, it's written on the thing.
But you can write a lot of stuff.
I know, but that was written,
I believe
10,000 years ago, you know.
Yeah.
So, anyways, and
I want to believe it.
I want to believe it too, because like now, if you talk to a religious person, they tell you, oh, there was so much knowledge and so much stuff in the Bible or the Torah or the Quran. I agree, all right, because I read like 3 of them, and actually I'm in the process of reading the Quran, the whole thing, and there's some like interested science based, you know, like sentences that's like, whoa. But you got to think about the father of prophets is Abraham.
Yeah.
Right? That's in every religion. Okay. And Abraham was from Ur.
Where's that?
Ur. It's Sumerian city.
Okay.
That's why my brand called Ur.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There you go.
They had the first queen. All right. They had the first signature of a letter.
Yeah.
Okay. They had the first contract. They created geometry. They had solar system. They have beer. They created the shovel. They created the wheel. Like, just think about that. They even had batteries. All right, that's 10,000 years ago, and they knew about astronomy and the solar system. Like, okay, where does this knowledge come from? You know, like all this knowledge that you're telling me. This is why in religions
this is an ad, by the way.
Yeah,
this is an ill ad.
Yeah, this is why the religions, they have like science-based information in the books, because Abraham came from a civilization that had knowledge.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's like the
you got to tell the people that why you pushing the brand, right?
Oh yeah, bro.
There's a reason why the market's been set, the brand's been created a certain kind of way. They need to hear that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Like I'm not that good at that. Like, you know, I'm not good at talking and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because
but you just did people when they come on the podcast don't realize that when they're talking about their circles, that what happens is the best run that they could have done.
Exactly.
I have my friend Kathleen on here. We need to make a video about her beforehand. The amount of time she recorded that interview fucked it up. But when it was us on the podcast and she read it, it was the one that still need to delete some ums, but you know, it was the best one.
That's good.
Yep. No. But you're just saying that was powerful. You know, when you started going, the ones with the first king, queen. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
First queen. Yep.
Yeah.
Invented geometry. That's what people need to know when they think Urattire.
This is why I called it Ur.
Yeah.
Ur. This is why. You see, on the website, like when I wrote it on the website, it's just U and an R. Because I didn't want to put the 2 dots. It will be too complicated for people to find it. Yeah. You know, but it's Urattire, and then it's a name of an ancient city.
So the two dots would make it in
Yeah, Urattire. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to put it on my About Us page, how to pronounce it. But it's so hard to put it because, like, what would you write? How to pronounce? Like,
you would just find another word that sounds like
exactly.
Or.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I don't know.
It's hard. Yeah.
But yeah, with the little thing, if you Googled it and then it would tell you with the syllables in between. Yeah, my brother did that for his artist page, and I was like, Al actually sat down and took the time to do it. And it's gonna take me a little bit longer. I'm doing this editing shit.
Yeah, but no, it'll get better, bro. I've been doing everything for Urattire by myself, and to be honest with you, with all like the shit that happened to me in my life, I didn't go to school from, like I stopped going to school, second grade or whatever, and then came here to 8th grade, different language.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's intense.
Yeah, like my language is not that great, like I don't know how to write that great,
Neither does anyone else in the country anymore.
but like when you have a business, you need you need to be professional, and I'm picky, bro.
Yeah.
Like I want it to be the most perfect, like has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because my story, like the story that I want to put out there, it's like I said from the beginning, like we live in the age of information. Everybody wants like real, deep conversation with someone. And when you have the real conversation with that somebody, you feel connected.
Yeah.
That's why
it's part of the community.
That's why like girls and stuff, they say, oh, I don't like the small talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because they want to have like a nice conversation. I don't want to talk to somebody who's telling me, oh, I got fucked up yesterday. Okay, bro.
Yeah.
We get it.
There you go.
I want to tell me how the fuck like man was created. Tell me how like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Let's get into something that actually could actually
use my mind.
That could, no pun intended, make some fucking headway for the species.
Yeah, bro.
Right?
Like right now, all these kids.
It's too much for people sometimes. Sometimes it becomes too much for people, and basically my entire life is hashtag too deep for the intro. You know what I mean? You know that J. Cole song, too deep for the intro?
Yeah.
At the end, it's just like, I'm always too deep for the intro. Or maybe that's just how I always
because
am.
You're informed. That's why.
And fuck the small talk.
Exactly.
Right? I'd rather be honest and direct, and it even come off like I'd even be cool with you coming off rude to me if it was like, let's not bullshit, non-realness, things that just have to do with factors that aren't.
Exactly. But like Steve Hawkings, rest in peace. You know him. Okay?
Yeah.
He in his book it says, he had a quote. It says,
now does he like Steve?
Who?
Or does he like Stefan? Okay. Because he's dead, so I want to make sure this carries out through the airwaves.
Let's just say Hawkings.
Hawkings, okay.
He had a quote in his book. It says, the most addictive drug known to men is knowledge. Yeah. Because when you know, you want to know. And
that's why curiosity killed the fucking cat, man.
Yes, bro. And this is
yeah.
And people right now, that's all they're doing. Yes, social media and stuff, they trying to like, follow the wrong people or whatever. But there's some people out there, they want to know. Like, they want to like, they watch documentaries.
I think it's built into that same core.
Yeah.
That same early onset iguana had these same things that wanted to be great, wanted to know more, and wanted to whatever until you were that newly evolved iguana, right? It's different, and that's each one before it's gonna put that same little taste in your mouth for wanting a little bit more truth.
Yeah. So the more I perfect the Urattire story, the more people will get interesting.
Yeah.
Like even me, when I draw, I get inspired by history and science. All right? A lot. And I said this before, without art, we might not even be alive. Let's hold on.
No,
because the first what's called the early what's called art of the
cave paintings. Yeah.
Cave paintings. They tell their ancestor how to hunt. You know what I'm saying? That's how they tell them and tell stories and stuff like that. If they didn't have that
reference,
if they didn't have that reference, then they might like not survive.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Can make a huge difference.
Yeah, and art has been with us since forever. You know, since the beginning.
Well, for the exact same reason, I feel like why is it that you're drawing?
Mm-hmm.
Ask anyone that's ever drawn in all of evolution, the millions of years, right? Why did you draw? And what you're going to find is that it's always going to be tied to reference of meaning, right?
Yeah.
We would create more depth within the species' intellectual capability to fuck with more things. If a picture's worth 1,000 words and one word is one mouth sound, and what I could do is give you 1,000 at once, right? That's a level up, if you will, in intellectual ability, right? So we're at a point now, I think, where if you were to look at a human and you're going, okay, so what's the level up going to be? We're all, we want to talk about the way that our thumbs are differently, our eyes are going to be more sensitive, et cetera, et cetera. But in the meantime, the brain, what is the brain doing? Because I think anxiety is actually the carrying of too much information at once, and it's literally having a hindrance on your body. So unfortunately, the overload of information, it's not that you can't take it, it's certain things, I think it's an evolutionary way to tell you need to deal with certain shit, and then you basically are piling on information. But when you're getting too much like that, the brain is going to need to have ways to adopt, whether it's creating illnesses in your back, the way you feel your body, fibromyalgia kind of shit, all this fucking stuff. And it's like basically telling you to chill out, or the brain needs to get bigger, or the brain needs to adapt so that you don't feel the anxiety because...
Or you just need to meditate and reroute everything. You know what I'm saying?
I've noticed it. So are you a daily meditator? Because I agree.
I used to, yeah. But then I became busy and I didn't have no time. But I do believe in meditation, bro. Meditation. When I came to America, I had anger issues, bro. Yeah. Like I
wonder why.
Exactly. Fights, anybody looking at me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, but then I started meditating. This is like I told you, 2004. After 2004, everything changed.
Yeah.
J.
Cole comes in, meditate.
Yeah. No, I started watching documentaries. Blockbuster.
Yeah, Blockbuster.
Get high, go there, like 6 hours just to pick one movie. Trying to see what the fuck's going on.
You know what happens to a menu when you order and when you high, let alone if you're in a Blockbuster trying to pick a movie.
And, the first thing I started doing is one of my boys, he's Albanian and he doesn't believe in anything, He doesn't believe.
Albanians don't believe in anything?
No, he doesn't believe him.
Okay.
Because I know other Albanians, they're Muslim or Catholic or whatever. But I don't mind, But I just want to tell him that, like, I wanted to prove to him that believing in something is good. Like, it's like morals, like...
Yeah.
We all...
In the circle.
Yeah, we all need to have that something to look forward to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what keeps us going, I guess. I actually...
No, you're 100% right. Yeah. It's actually something that you could, like, self-manage and build into any organization or community.
Yeah.
Like, the path... When this is what we were saying before about when you're sitting down feeling like you're being controlled in the way that you act. Well, that is a 180 difference between doing something that you feel like you are passionate about, you're investing, that when you're doing the work, that it's like good work for you.
Yeah. Do you know a lot about belongings? Like when you belong to some organization or you
No, but
you don't know that much?
I mean, well, here's what I'll give you a quick run-up of what I think, and then, because I don't know what you mean by how much I know, but I feel like that community, belonging, tribe, all evolution,
it's
built
necessary.
in, is 100% necessary. It's how we've already evolved to get to this point, and unfortunately, we're in a spot where not only is there more information, but the population's huge, and no one's talking to each other. You could cure addicts with the right kind of community, passion, you could, there's...
So you know a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So I wasn't sure what you meant by...
Because I'm working on something else too, other than Urattire.
Word.
We'll talk about it after this, because I don't want people to steal the idea.
Yeah, it's cool.
But it's And the fact that you know a lot about it, I would be happy if you want to go in on this. And it's easy. And
yeah, we're gonna have to talk about this.
Yeah, bro, this is gonna be major, you know, because like you said, there's a lot of people, they don't feel that they belong. You know, there's a lot of people, they get promoted or they get fired and they don't have anyone to talk to, and the stress level is up, bills and all of that stuff, you know, girlfriend, whatever, social media, expectations. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That is a lot of stress.
It's a lot.
And this is how people commit suicide, and this is how people get turned to drugs, you know, to try to be happy. But when they turn to drugs, they go up so high, but the crash is so bad that either
and they're not even paying attention to the natural hindrances that they're gonna have
so
as a human
I have a solution
in the
for
first
that.
place. Okay,
I have a solution for that, and we'll talk about.
No,
it
if you we could, yeah, we also got to talk about one of my other boys off camera that's doing something right now. Oh, you know him too. And then, but I feel you. I feel like when you can, so that's that would be part of why I'm going. I'd want the 10-20 year plan to be hiatus, because a community center like that would in essence save the artists. I think there's a lot of artists that are dying right now because they're out in an office, and then they listen. Also, why you create art, it creates meaning when you put it down, and part of it creating meaning has to do with not you being the only one that sees it, right? Like even brilliant philosophers need a group of people to want to fucking listen before it sticks.
They need artists.
Yeah. So you and like here's where
because you're using like a different region, region of your mind when you draw, bro.
Yeah,
you're just focusing.
You're in the that's the present.
When you're in there and focusing and like just drawing, you know, you might look at Da Vinci, bro.
Yep. That's you're zoning. That's when time flies by.
Exactly.
Everyone has geniuses that show up at different times. The only way you could build them into your work is to work all the time.
At that time, you know,
then they start flying and fluttering through you.
Exactly, bro.
I'm telling you. You need to check out, if you haven't already read it, Many Lives, Many Masters. And I think that before, when we were getting on them high number of ruling years of gods and kings, that some of them, they would play the role of these masters that get discovered through hypnosis and near-death experience.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but there's another theory that they say like they're Anunnakis. You ever heard of that term? So
I like it though. Okay. What Anunnaki?
That's what it was written on the tablets. The Anunnakis, that means the people that came from heavens, from the heavens to earth. That's who gave knowledge to the Sumerians. Word. So like I said, there's so many theories. We just follow whatever we believe in. Like, to me, even religion is a theory, because nobody knows. I wasn't there, you know?
It's one set of a bunch of cats that hit nirvana and had the fucking printing press around at the time that it hit.
But you see, like, what I don't get, like, how people hate on like some other theories. You don't need to, you know, like you just
you could use them all.
Yeah, you know, you just go like read all of them, learn about all of them, and come up with your own. That's what happens, you know.
Yeah, but then so some of the healthy practices that get built in within religion also just, you know, because of association, get threatened when you bring up different things. So unfortunately, it's them operating off the drive to defend or the drive to bond with whatever it is they're already doing that has made their life better through that religion. You're now you're basically saying, well, if you're saying this is not black and white, you know, I'm only banking on it being black and white, and if then this is fucking up my life.
You know why? I read a lot about a lot of the religions, you know, and I love reading about history and religions. It's important to me, okay? And till this day, I say that I'm Muslim. Why? It's because in Islam, we believe in Judaism, we believe in Christianity, we believe in Ibrahim, and we cannot say Jesus' name or Moses' name in vain. That's a huge sin, okay? Like whatever you hear on the news is fake. Whatever you hear on the news is fake, you know? And we believe that Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are all the people of the book. It's like chapters. It's like when you go to school, first grade, second grade.
Jesus Christ is right up there too, right?
Yeah,
The way that Jesus Christ gets along with the other homies outside of America is just fine. In America, though, Jesus Christ don't get along with these motherfuckers.
Because it's business, bro. It's because like where do Islamic people live?
Yeah.
Where do they live? Iraq.
Yeah.
You know, so much oil over there.
I think it's way above what. See, if you were a force that was ruling a bunch of people that were supposed to be blind to the fact that there was a force ruling them, then there'd be stages in it that have to do with things like controlling of goods, natural disasters, hostile enemies, fucking, and there's different tiers of that shit. Even if you could if you want to control a population, you need to have something that they depend on repeatedly over and over and over and over to be flooding that to them. So unfortunately, there's some things that are built into the community now, whether you talk about regular mainstream medium or your fucking tolls on a highway that are just going into a little bit higher than we've ever really delved. That's if there is the Illuminati, right? That would be on that level.
Bro, there's definitely like a percentage.
There's Illuminatis. Any motherfucker that got billions of dollars is gonna be like, well, what else am I gonna do? I'm just gonna hang out on my ranch in Montana. Like, no, I'm gonna go fucking.
There's
do
definitely
shit
a
with the
percentage of people that control the world. There's definitely. We all know that.
Yep.
But let's go back to what is it called? The Anunnakis.
Okay.
So
they ain't none of them.
So the theory,
those motherfuckers, the ones that run the world right now, they probably got a little bit more searching to do.
So there's theories, bro. There's a lot of theories. Okay, there's even scientific theory, and the Anunnakis, they came from a planet called Nibiru.
Nibiru.
Okay. This planet, which is planet X, was called. Their atmosphere was it had gold particles. All right. So they had to go to the solar system and to find a planet with gold, and it was here. So 300 of them came here. All right. 300 of them came here, and when they came here, they saw what's called like the Neanderthals and like that.
Yep, the Neanderthals and
the cavemen. Okay, so what they did is they manipulated their genes to create the first Adam and Eve. They brought them down. Okay, they manipulated. I mean, they multiplied and they worked for them.
They do that with like a turkey based.
I don't know how they did it, but. They did it.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they did it with some upper level shit.
Yeah, because
I don't think they gave it to Neanderthals, because Neanderthals die out. Homo sapiens in a certain period of time have this rapid expansion. Like I have for 23andMe, I had like the top 93 or 6 percentile of Neanderthal variants that people that tested in 23andMe registered. But when I read this book, Homo sapiens or Sapiens, and I'll put that in the timetable of contents, but they talk about a time where there was several other beings like us on this planet, and they basically are discussing why they think they ended up dying off versus stuck around compared to Homo sapiens. And one of the things with Homo sapiens was we do a really great job of being able to work in large groups of other ones of us, even without so to that point, yes, that's the number one. Then the number two becomes and no reference. So we can show up and know I have X job to do, I don't know you, and we could still do it. There's other species that need a bond to exist first before they are going to go and work on something all day, every day. I agree. And so ensues a predicament on day-to-day life, you know?
That's true. So, yeah, these Anunnakis came here, and then, they started mining gold, and then they left 12, generals over here, and they left. And those 12 generals are the gods of Samaria, the 12 Greece gods, Zeus and whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Word.
And
yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah,
for real.
Like if you think about it, a theory. That's one theory that has evidence, but we cannot prove it because we don't have enough. Like the tablets. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But you have the religion, theory, and also you have like scientific theory. They say Venus used to be like Earth. Never know. Maybe in the early universe, they had life in there. And then a meteor came, fucked the whole shit up, made it closer to the sun. It died, but maybe pieces of Venus came to Earth like as a meteor, and carried like warm. What is it? Water bears. You've seen those water bears? They survive like in extreme weather. They're like smaller than bacteria or whatever. They survive in like radiation and whatever. And maybe that form of life came from Venus to Earth and created life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The mushrooms are in there somewhere.
Of course. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. So. For sure. That's... I like that. I like all that a lot more. I think that even the person that can't get on board with it being a reality would go, I can't help but think of like hallucinogens, those types of experiences that like shock to ego, that letting go, etc. What that ends up doing to you is also making you aware of a lot of other senses that you're just told you only have 5, and it's not even to say that you don't have more, but you don't have a name for more, and you don't practice within that realm.
Didn't unlock them.
If you need to know about it first.
Yes.
Right. So knowing about it, the awareness is the number one step. But then, unfortunately, it could also work against you depending on what you're doing in your life.
It depends on who you are, I guess. I think, because if somebody who's angry and like,
why are you angry though? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's shit going on up in your head that you are not letting go of on that day, and it's fucking messing up your entire rhythm, and then next thing you know is you're depressed.
You're right. You're 100% right. Know? But I think like before anyone tries mushroom, they should meditate for like a month.
Nah, that's too heavy. I would actually say that I think that's all right. I think some people are wean into things, right? I think that I'm a natural jump in learner. That's how I am. Now I think that there are a lot of people that are like that. Those are also going to be the people that, like it or not, buddy, you got a certain genetic code that says you're going to be more apt to addiction and addiction in this type of society, and how it feels and what's offered and what your options are.
I agree.
Right? But there's differences in people. We need to it's kind of insulting to address the population just based off of fucking, your age and your sex. Like there's, I feel like, there's just more going on with every single individual, right? You have these experiences, you realize that there's more going on with like the plants, and you actually have power within that realm, it's a train of thought that is on point with the golden age that is yet to come, because we're on the come up back to it, that will at one point in time, once you finally get up there in that revolution of 24,000 years, whatever, that shit like is now common thought, right? Like, I apologize for being so visionary and direct. I come off arrogant sometimes in the way that I think, but there's just some straight up things that people aren't paying attention to, which have a complete and utter control on everything that goes on around them. Everything. That's why the architectures all change around the same point in time in the world, and all these different civilizations to be more using like advanced geometry. And then now what they show, even how they can make sound project, right? If you think about it like this, I think that the Egyptians were doing some shit where if you could sing within a certain room, that room would be channeled the proper way, that could run through quartz and shit, like, and create massive amounts of energy. And if you had an electrified type of quartz or whatever they use going throughout your community, maybe that is some of the way that they kept you, upright and like proper, right? There's, there wasn't a slump of desks.
The way they move their, like, they could change their wave. What is it called? The wave, like how the chakras, how the energy like moves from the bottom to up, like. Yeah. Right? Is it like from the bottom to up and then it goes down to the bottom? Yeah, they could change that energy. They know how to change their chakra or like activate their chakra, that they had like physical power as well. Yeah. And I'm talking
Yogananda.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with like the Egyptian, but I know a little bit of it. And they say they use their chakra a lot. They know how to like align your energy, you know. But for example, what's called the pyramid itself, I think it's made to harvest energy.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
Because it's like the Mayans, the Mayans pyramid, it's built from limestone.
Okay? Yeah. They also line it with, I think, garnet.
Yeah, just to get that like electrical current in the air.
Oh, just a bunch of stuff that we have the ability to measure now, but aren't paying active attention to it.
I think that's what Tesla wanted to do. You know, wireless charging, just like electricity.
Talk about the first fucking place to get ran up on him by the FBI when you go talking about, I'm gonna create some fucking self-sustaining energy because the way that hey, listen guys, we got this reality. It's on a spot of the earth that's like you wouldn't believe. It's perfect. We're right in the middle of the earth. You know, we've realized that we can control strengths from weather patterns and gravity and the way that our earth fucking turns to enlighten a population of people by using a specific type of crystal that emits frequencies within this area, and then we could clean up the population. I think that like that's what they said that they could last on that for about 1,000 years.
Damn,
right,
bro.
so like they had about 1,000 years of it being real great, and then it went down. We don't even think of life like, right, you go 5 back. We're not thinking of 10 back.
You took it way back to Atlantis, bro.
That's what I'm saying. That was
that crystal shit. Yeah, definitely. I agree.
But what we need to realize is that, all right, so let me tell you a dope little story. Yeah. I'm on the plane. I was working for this. I was coming back. I forget where the fuck I was. I think I was flying from L.A. to back to Boston. And I don't know. I'm sitting with this guy. He's like 6'4", 6'5", and he's in the middle seat. I'm not going to give him the eye.
Is that for me? Sorry, bro.
Yes, it is. It's just water, though.
Yeah, good.
Like, he's uncomfortable. I take a nap. I wake up. I realize everyone on the plane has headphones. He doesn't have headphones, whether he didn't grab them. And I love music. I always keep an extra brand new pair the bottom of the rack. So I offer them to him, and it turns up we just get into this conversation. So things that I don't find out until I walk with him off the plane, like him being an $8.6 billion CEO of fucking, I think it's Wilson and Towers, a company working within risk, right? And so he'll go all around the world working with insurance companies on risk of natural disaster, etc.
Wow.
What was epic about this was like, I definitely got the feeling that he was not someone that's trying to scam everybody, rather a very an enthusiast on basically the ecosystem and patterns and what's happening right now, and that's how he helped within the risk. It was less about like trying to, you know, make sure that you don't have flood insurance type of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And he told me this joke. It was so funny. He says it in a British accent. And
he's British? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He lives in the UK, and he's like, all right, so these 2 planets, they're coming through. You know, this one planet just knocks into the other one. He turns around, he's like, hey, man, what the fuck? He turns around, the other planet's Earth. He's like, he's dying laughing, tell me this. He's like, sorry, man, I'm sick. He's like, oh, what's wrong with you? He's like, Homo sapiens. And he's like, the other planet's like, Homo sapiens. Oh God, man, that's nasty. They're the fucking worst.
Yeah.
But you know, they just give it 200,000 years and you'll be good. Peace. Yeah. Talking that's to crazy. Each other, right? I added the peace in there, but yeah, he told me this story, and once again, it just makes your mind state think the way it really is, which is you box yourself into this little world. There's a lot more that goes in with your purpose, your worth, what you're into, when you even realize something like that's how long it's been going for. There is a possibility, and it's true that there's a civilization ruling. There's no evidence of slaves in Egypt, right? So the history books will get rewritten, and when that happens, that'll be a level up, a consciousness, right? But the internet is allowing for a beautiful level up right now. Which is why also, so for now, maybe you can't fucking make a pyramid in the side of Malden and fucking juice that bitch up with quartz and granite. And for all the people out here in this motherfucker, then at least I can do a podcast, you know, with you.
Yeah, hell
talk about the circles, John. There you go. Of course,
yeah, bro. What's called? I think in Boston, man, if they put that thing, the pyramid, people they're gonna start saying, oh. It's gives you cancer after like certain years or something.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
But
Boston seems to be one of the places where like more enlightening trains of thoughts are born. At least that when I like the media that I'll pay attention to. The stories, like, BU's got a lot of, I'm going to go after some researchers at universities, find some causes that I'm interested in. Because I don't want the podcast, like, I want the podcast to be general conversation, but I also want it to be, you're getting, if you have the TED Talk app, it's going to be what kind of talk you want to listen to, inspiring, something in new technology, innovation, design, or is it going to be just comedy, just conversation, right? And when you can make your UI a little bit more like that and add in a good story, like something that paints a picture about fucking, basically 2018's like Refugee, there's underground railroads existing because of that.
The craziest underground railroads like in fucking Palestine, Yeah. And it's like so dangerous because Gaza Strip, right, bro?
Yeah.
It's like 40,000 acres. No. How much is it? 400 acres of like 3 million people just living there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's nothing.
400 or 4,000, I'm not sure. But it's still, you're caged. You can't go, like, there's no food going in. So they had to do, like,
yeah, it's fucking Hunger Games up in this bitch.
Yo, you're 100%, man.
They just take over from a specific area that you're not around or paying attention to. And then when does your country step in?
Exactly. That's crazy. But what's called, man, the joke that you told me about with that guy?
Yeah.
That's a funny joke. And it's like we are, a disease to the earth. Because for the last 100 years, we fucked it up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And, like, I don't know what's going to happen. Nature always fights back.
Oh, for sure.
That's what you got to think about.
Yeah. Give them 200,000 years.
Yo, nature. And nature always wins.
Yeah.
Like every fucking spring, bro. Every April, you get this I never used to have what's called allergy. I came here, bro. And I don't know if it's allergy or sickness now. Every year, same thing.
It's probably allergy. It's probably if you all right. So like you were naming your lineage before. If you traced all of where your body's evolved from, if you will, and what area of the world that was in, that area had and did not have certain things. So I feel like when you jump to a part of the area where your evolutionary track doesn't jive with how it is there, it's naturally going to take you longer to either build up resistance or it's just always going to fuck with you and you're not going to get it.
Exactly. Because time.
Yeah, like I feel like I need sun. Like during when I lose sun and I'm supposed to be naturally tan,
the energy low, bro.
Goes low and it's like not good. It's almost like a built-in.
When were you born? Oh, I mean, what month?
July 9th, 1989.
Yeah, same thing. Summer baby.
Yeah.
You need the sun, bro.
Summer baby, hot out here.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
like in the winter, bro. I sometimes you get like mood swings, not to that extent, but like like damn, I wish it was sunny out. You go do something.
So then ensues the question of like, okay, how old are you? 31. Okay, so you're 31. You're about to be 29, right? You're you understand this, you at least have a good educated opinion on it. What now goes into making a move so that it is incorporated into your day-to-day? That needs to be, are you willing to relocate to an environment without the people that are here with you right now, just so that everyone after gets lined up the right way? Like,
I definitely considered it, bro. Considered like going to California. I was gonna go like at the end of this year, but then I met Mo, met you guys, and I got more connection. Like, why not just like try to make it here, and then you'll be comfortable to move anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, just couple more years, Urattire is gonna be killing it. And
so you have do you do visualization? Do you ever?
I try to do that.
I've been hearing more about that. I've been trying to do it a little bit more too. Yeah,
and
but
like, what I'm trying to do is like, we were talking about mushroom.
Yeah.
And you were saying that when you take it, you have a high, like, extra senses. The only thing is going on is when you're taking these mushrooms, you open in your third eye a little bit, just like squinting, and you're feeling this. Imagine you have the power to have that consciousness, and you could not just do visualization. You should just like think about it, and it's automatically it's gonna happen. Law of attraction kind of thing,
That's good, but can it happen in this kind of environment though? Like, so wouldn't the environment need to change in order for that to happen?
The only reason why is not it takes a long time, or like it's hard, I think it's because we have so much distraction.
Yeah, and discipline is a fading fucking characteristic.
Like, would you rather fucking, sometimes I'm sitting down at the house after work, and I want to like meditate for a little bit, and then I'm on my phone, and then I'm fucking 20 minutes gone. Like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
Like that kind of distraction, or like,
it's been pissing me like to the point where I'm gonna be calendared about it as well. Like, almost, all right, this is the time that I'm leaving my phone out of the picture.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I think that could be a pretty
and not just that
thing.
Like, for example, work, working long periods of hour. Like, it'd be amazing if like work gives you an hour to just like relax and meditate or something. They make it mandatory for people so they don't fucking stress out.
That'd be a good way that you could build it in there.
Yeah, I heard
they couldn't make it mandatory, but they need to make there be added value, something. You get some credits to some company.
Bro, science will never prove it. Like, science will always go against it, because they cannot prove it. I think they can. I just think there's a price on anyone's head going to try to prove that kind of shit. I also think that we've been had algorithms to talk to the fucking orcas and the whales and the dolphins, and it's not going to be good once we hear them start talking. If they get interviewed by an independent source telling us about what the fuck we did to the ocean, let alone you took some of my homies. Y'all ever heard of fucking Marine Land or fucking Sea World? Yeah. Y'all just been torturing us. Alive intelligence, motherfucker. Yeah. I like it. Joe Rogan be talking about it all the time. It's good, because if there's any examples that we should try to look at to be like, what the fuck happens when you put that conscious, that smart of an animal with that big of a brain on benzodiazepines and tranquilizers and shit like that every single day, that is a test case for what happens. That is a school shooting. That is a fucking, that's an explosion. That's an act of terror. That's fucked up. You got to think about it, because
then I'm talking about when they kill the people.
Oh yeah, I understand.
That's like.
But what do you expect from a species that enslaved their own species?
What you mean?
Like us as humans.
What do you expect from us?
Yeah.
Nah,
what I'm saying?
I feel you. I just think that there needs to be. What I'm doing here is more of causing more urgency on the fact that needs to change, because what is ridiculous is like we are so high and mighty on our intellectual status that like it's funny how you see it trickle down for how we care about different animals on this planet as a whole. But one of the first ones on the map need to be the fucking whales. The one, like the other animals that have big brains need to be the other ones. And that is first, they have a language. They have languages that they talk through. They know, they work in teams. They're not ignoring their sixth sense because fucking Harry Potter's on or, you know, like some type of media is up in their face.
Bro, they have feelings, bro. Like, you know, everything.
They remember humans. They come back up.
Elephants is the same thing.
No documented kills of an orca and a human except for like at SeaWorld and shit.
Yeah,
you know
exactly. Because they're fucking stressed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But
what are we doing to ourselves?
Yeah.
That's, you know, I'm sure there'll be relationship. You go online and use a little fucking little emoji guy like you talk to, which is really the whale down at the, you know, you'll be able to talk to him.
That's crazy. But like even elephants are the same thing, bro. They
smart as fuck. Recognize you, remember you forever.
Yeah. And like when they on the way, you know how they travel for water and stuff. On the way, if one of them died or like an elder died, on the way back they always like stop there for a little bit, and they go
bow their head.
Yeah, or something. You know, it's crazy. They remember like. And do you know?
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah, bro. There was a saying. I heard it yesterday. I was listening to something. It says the cathedral of the cathedral of the wild is where we see our beautiful reflection. You know? Yeah. Not just in humanity you see the good. You could even see it in like the wild as well. Like how animals help each other.
Yeah.
You know?
So this like, is I forget who else I talked to about it, but this class, the biological anthropology of human evolution, I had to take in college, that ran through these characteristics like what you're talking about through different species. Yeah. Simple shit that would be like one species, the mom's a slut, the dad takes care of the kids, the other one's the other way around, the other one, they only have one kid and they take care of it together. Yeah. You know, and then like animals being bad, doing trickery, doing whatever, like you see it play out everywhere. In all the nature too.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, bro. It's crazy, and it's beautiful at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Like you look at this thing, you cannot understand it, but you know that you looking at them and you kind of can communicate with your eyes, and then you see the animals doing way better, like helping each other than a real human.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then that like it touches you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then you're like, we need to build, like,
and we fuck them up, yo. Like we torture them, we fucking kill all their habitat and everything. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be like, you know, conspiracy or whatever, but you have to live in like you live on
there's
Earth.
There's a balance that needs to happen.
Yeah, you're living on Earth, you know, and there's a lot of species living on Earth too. So try to take care of it. But people, they live for themselves, bro. They're selfish. And there's a Native American saying, they say that we rent the world from our children.
Yeah, I love that saying. We didn't.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's the one that I know is we didn't inherit the world from our ancestors. We borrowed it from our children.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's one of my favorite.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
That's also something that changes when the culture as a whole is taught stuff about history that is more accurate, like it being way longer, right? Like then the people as a whole always are thinking in their head like land that we will always take care of here, not just land that we'll take care of for, you know,
but with all this like chaos that's happening in the world, and with all this you know, like bad things that's happening, I think it's gonna go to the right path.
Agreed.
You know? Because
friction
there's a lot of bad things that we are attracted to. We see until, you know, but we don't see the good things. There's a lot of people doing the good things if you're listening to the right things.
Yeah, I wanted to make a good news.
Yeah, like me, like if Urattire gets, you know, in the future when Urattire gets you know, going and everything, I want to open an organization while just helping everybody that needs help, like kids, you know, education, stuff like that. Just go out there and help each other. And a lot of people doing that. And before, it's either we destroy ourselves or we change the better. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and I can't allow these slobs to make it the impression. Someone in the, you know, even in class, like I've always spoken up a little bit quicker. Yeah, you know, like someone needs to fucking. When we were talking about ego and shit like that before, it's been brought up a lot how, you know, like when you're thinking about where you're at in your life and how you're gonna change it and what the expectations of other people are on you, that I don't know where the fuck I was going with this. how it's straight off from what your exact story was, but there's just a momentum that gets caught up.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they run, and you see people running into each other with that momentum.
Yeah.
So ensues organic buds. So ensues Urattire.
Exactly.
I like that story a lot more now too. So I do this. So pick two numbers between 1 and 36.
Wow, 1 and 36. I'll go with 36.
Okay, and what's the other one?
And the other one is gonna be 9.
36 and 9. Motherfucker, I gotta bring it back up. Okay, because I do 36 questions. And 36 questions, Muhammad, this has been added in since you came on. But it is basically that if two people have a conversation and ask and answer these 36 questions, that regardless of race, color, creed, whatever differences, sex, all that kind of shit, that you will, and age, you will love the person in front of you, right? It can establish love between two people if you ran through these 36 questions, ask and answer. Okay. I just go through 2 of them, and I just put them in this fucking... I just ask. So you picked 36
and 9.
And 9. My bad. I should have had this shit up. I thought it was already up.
Do your thing. We chilling. Love the artwork, by the way, bro.
Thank you.
In your room.
Shouts to Producing B.
Yeah.
Shouts to Art by Carter. That's the Protect Your Neck.
Yeah.
Shouts to Matt
the next time I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna bring some of my sketches.
Okay.
Show you.
Yeah, we could even sketch for a bit.
Fuck yeah.
Like before when we were talking about art, and I said that I draw. Like I used to draw. I'm not drawing a lot, so I need to draw more. I actually have written on, or I would say that I just need to draw more with my sister. Yeah, it's a good thing. That's what I did growing up, was drawing with my friends. Like that was part of the things that we did. Yeah. Aside from exploring everywhere on the bikes. All right. So 36. Share a personal problem and ask your partner's advice on how or he or she may handle it. Partner meaning me. Also, ask your partner to reflect back to you how you seem to be feeling about the problem you have chosen. So, I'll repeat it. Share a personal problem and ask your partner's advice on how he or she might handle it. Also, ask your partner to reflect back to tell you how you seem to be feeling about the problem you have chosen.
So I have to tell you.
So you got and ask for advice. Okay. So you could be strategic with how you. Yeah. You know, don't say anything you don't want to talk about.
No, of course. Let's see. I was just thinking about it. Hold on.
Yeah, take your time. That's not something.
That's good, bro. I like the fact that you wrote all these questions. That's cool.
So I didn't write them. They're a preset 36. Okay. Some are deep, some are high level.
That's cool.
But basically, whether they're icebreakers or really deep, they make people pay attention to similar questions in each other's existence.
To be honest with you, I was like, the problem I want to share is me going to California.
Okay, and you want to know what's funny is that when you had brought that up before, I saw how it like kind of stunted the way you were talking about it for a moment. Yeah, because that must have been pretty recent that that's still up in the air, right?
Yeah, well, but like I said, because I met Mo and you guys. And
why California? It's just
I went there a couple of times, bro. You know, and like I love the lifestyle. I love the weather, and you know, if I get a spot in LA, you know, I could get a job too. You know, and focus on my Urattire. And over there's a lot of famous people. You know, events, etc. But the hard part is I'm not gonna know anybody there. I know a couple of people there, but I don't have the connection. But I have the connection here now, you know? And it's getting better, and I'm getting the momentum now. So if I stay here and get Urattire going, and then I could go. And that was my, like, just trying to see.
Yeah. So I think that a place is only as good as the people that are in it. And unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're in the right place. But what it does mean is that you definitely are in a good spot as far as already having connections and established like a little bit of time somewhere. I think for me, every time I've moved, I need 1 full year before I'm truly comfortable within the little area that I'm living at, just in regards to how I drive around and everything like that. You know, it takes about a year, and after that you're looking at 5 to 7 for meaningful relationships that need to pop up.
Exactly.
So you can't just be moving around and not picking a place. It will fuck with your momentum.
I agree.
But the best place to build your market is your home market. And someone described where you're from or home being where you are actually from or living now. I like telling people more when I was growing up where I was from, when they say like, oh, where are you from? But I don't know, I feel like it's
crazy. Yeah. You asking me where I'm from?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, bro. No. I'm from Quincy, bro, you know, but originally from Iraq.
So right now you live in Quincy?
Yeah.
Word, okay.
Yeah. And I want to expand this business out to New England and, you know, California, everywhere in the world, bro, you know. But now I know Mo, and we have, you know, some good connection around here. We're going to do some more events.
Yep. And you could build a lot.
Exactly.
Document the process.
Exactly. That's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Is document the process. You see, but you cannot build a company without a group of people.
Yeah.
You know
Gary Vee be saying you're a media company before you're anything else because if you should be documenting what it is you're doing and talking about the story and telling it.
Exactly.
I'm learning like a whole new way to approach the podcast, even just, you know, down to what the Instagram should be like and how you edit. And, you know, if it takes 4 hours to edit through, you should be making the highlight reel while you're going through it, so you're already getting those, making the post under a minute, right? So what is the time to make something more? And now, like, okay, once I perfect that, I want to start showing it, like showing the process of the podcast and the podcast, because you could probably get a lot of good. I need an SDLR. I need
what's SDLR?
Like a good camera.
Okay.
Yeah, like a good. Before I made the purchase for 3 of these for the price of 1 SDLR. Like they're better for like photography.
Wow.
And I need to have the flat, and my lighting needs to get better.
Yeah,
all
but you got a good setup, bro.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I kind of like making the shit better. It just should be off the rip. Like, that's the art center that you'll come to, hiatus, years to come. Like, you're going to have the right equipment and things in there, right?
Exactly.
Teach by example, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So.
Number 9.
Yeah. So to sum it up, though, man.
Yeah.
I think you might, and it's just my opinion, but you could end up being happier executing the relationships that are here. End up building, no matter what, Boston would be one of the ones that you would need to grab anyway. So the fact that you're already in one of the markets that you'd want to fuck with, it's not that bad to stick around. Yeah, exactly.
You know, a lot of people from everywhere here.
Yeah, plus moving's a lot.
It is.
It is a lot.
It is.
All right, 9. For what in your life do you feel most grateful?
My parents, bro.
Word.
They went through a lot to get me here.
It sounds like it, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's simple. It's like you cannot nothing can top it, bro. You know, because I seen them what they go through, and like I told you a little bit, you know, of it.
How are they now?
They're good, bro.
Yeah.
You know, they
happy people.
Yeah, bro. Hell, ask him, bro. My dad, the funniest. The funniest dude ever, bro. Yeah.
Word.
He's chill, you know, outgoing, and
word.
And my mom, she's like angel. It's perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, like I could say I'm grateful that I'm here in America, you know, of course, and I'm grateful to many things, you know. But that's
first and foremost.
That's the most.
Mom and pops.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Fuck yeah, that's a good way to. It's a good way to wrap it up, man. It's been a fucking vibe.
Yo, appreciate it, bro.
How can everyone find you?
Urattire.com. It's letter U R attire.com. Also on Instagram and Facebook.
Word. Okay.
All right.
And yeah, man, we got a few things that we need to talk about.
Definitely.
Off camera too. So
yeah.
I'll cut it here. And thank you very much for coming, man. I appreciate it,
man. Thank you very much, bro.
Good shit. Thank you. In my living room, and you're our boy. So fucking all these stupid little rules. Fuck it. I mean, obviously the conversations with us don't be interrupted and shit, but you can still. No, I know that, but I mean, you can still kick it there, full effect. Go use the bathroom. Don't worry, it adds value if you like.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? This is you're in our apartment with us, just like Muhammad is.